In October of 2006, we started working with the Earth and Spirit Center behind the Passionist Monastery on Newburgh Road. They gave us a little piece of land and we started doing 4 bins a month. Then we started attracting all these great volunteers from around the city that would come and help us put several tons of food waste into these bins.
I like the conceptual idea of breaking new grounds, but I also like actually the hands-on doing something. Unless you actually do something with it, it's just an idea. And it needs to be something other than just an idea. It actually has to become, you know, another way of dealing with the world.
It was part of our vision and our plan to begin to develop community gardens with the intent of ultimately developing an urban farm right in the middle of the city here. We were looking for a site, and I began to see a connection. The company that I work for, Dismas Charities, has a reentry facility in the western part of town.
Dismas Charities helps ex-offenders, and the key word is ex, because that's what the aim is. We help them succeed.
We began to develop the garden as a combined community service project between the residents of Dismas, the staff of Dismas, and the members, volunteer members of Breaking New Grounds.
At first, you'll see the residents on one side of the garden and the volunteers on the other side of the garden, and nobody's really talking or moving. And then after a while, one resident will say, well, I like this, and the volunteer will, me too, and then bam. It's like transformation. They're starting to see each other as equals.
Part of the food was donated to the Kids Cafe, where local neighborhood kids can come a couple of times a week and get a good hot meal and get help with their homework. Now all of a sudden, Breaking New Grounds is a composting organization and a food growing organization.
Breaking New Grounds has been besieged with requests for help putting gardens in everywhere.
Kind of make a little hole like about as deep as your finger and stick it down in there like that.
Young Money is a group of high school kids that are working with us, and they're going to be the main gardeners in the garden there at the Brandeis location.
And if you come across a clod of dirt like this, Robert, just sort of crumble it up.
I have had such a charmed life, and I need to give part of it back. I'm healthy, I've had access to good food my whole life, and I think that it makes a huge difference in just sort of how you feel, your outlook in the world. I have visited some elementary schools, and I see what they feed kids, and it's like, how are they ever going to learn anything if that's what they're feeding their bodies?
We missed a couple of generations of passing on to our youth how to grow food, how to access food, where our food comes from. They think the food comes from a grocery store or McDonald's or one of the other fast food places.
We owe Breaking New Grounds a lot of gratitude, because if we can teach young children to become these urban farmers, to plant and produce produce in their own neighborhoods, and then have this farmers market that could take those produce and sell them. If we can have kids who sell carrots instead of crack, what could be better than that?
To see them be able to take care of a little seed and see it turn into a plant that they can harvest and eat and nourish themselves or pass on to somebody else is a very powerful thing, something that can transform their life.
Those are water iris. They'll be beautiful. They'll grow up to the ceiling. We can grow.
My vision for Breaking New Grounds right now is that we become an economic engine. I love the idea of sustainable agriculture providing jobs in underserved areas. Our mentor, MacArthur Fellow Will Allen, is providing 36 jobs and paying his people $30,000 to $60,000 a year. I think that if Breaking New Grounds could do 1/8 of that, I just think that would be the greatest work ever.
For me, this is a powerful opportunity for us to create our community, a community where no one goes hungry, where we are capable of feeding ourselves and our neighbors and our friends.
Margaret Mead said, never underestimate the power of a small group of people to bring about change. Indeed, that's the only thing that ever has brought about change. Breaking New Grounds, they are Margaret Mead people. They are changing the way we look at our community and our country and our world.
If you can grow healthy soil, you can grow healthy food, you can grow healthy people, you can grow a healthy community. That's what Breaking New Grounds is all about.
There's a miracle that happens. I don't think I'm overstating it. This tiny little thing that you put in the ground and all of a sudden you're having people over to share it. I just don't know how it gets any better than that, unless you can create jobs around it. And then that is the total miracle.